Hello guys and gals, me Mudahar, and today we gotta talk about a little thing called video gaming disorder, a PSA from your boy. I gotta talk about a disorder that has to do with pretty much what this kind of channel was based on. It's based on, ladies and gentlemen, gaming. Are you watching A Man in Disorder? Let's talk about it today on a special edition of Addictions with Muda. No, really, ladies and gentlemen, today is a serious topic, and the best part about it is I didn't even hear about this topic from the internet. No. This conversation broke out in a group of relatives I had who are parents themselves with kids who love playing Fortnite. And a lot of these other games, H1Z1, they got a PlayStation and they're playing all the free-to-play games that are available, Warframe, some MMOs, especially Fortnite, okay? So lately the topic broke out where parents were classifying these video games as a detrimental thing to their children. And I want to sort of talk about gaming disorders because they are in fact a pretty real thing. I know the internet likes to get a little meme heavy, but we all know that these are a real thing. For those of you who've never been to Asia or have seen specifically China or South Korea, maybe specifically those two countries, I guess you may toss in Japan as well, but I'm pretty sure the actual issue lies primarily in China or South Korea. Gaming addiction and gaming disorders are a very real thing. You may have heard of the stories with parents who've neglected their child to pretty much death just by playing World of Warcraft, or you may have heard of, South Korean net cafes where people are just laying there dead for 10 days because they forgot how to eat or sleep or whatever. And these things are very real. People get so addicted to these games that they end up losing their lives to it. You play those games of StarCraft 2 so much, and you forget that there's a whole world outside you, and you forget to, keep up with your body's physical requirements, eating or sleeping or, actually fucking moving so your legs don't get atrophied. Then yeah, when you die, you shouldn't exactly be surprised, and I'm pretty sure none of these people were. So yeah, in Asia, it's a big deal. And the World Health Organization, which covers the whole world, they're not exactly a joke either. For them to classify this, they probably most definitely looked at something like Asia and said, yeah, that's a pretty big problem over there. And maybe the telltale signs have sort of started to show up here in at least the rest of the world, the Western side, I guess, us North Americans and the Europeans and the whole world. Gaming is a global phenomenon, and I guess for a lot of people who are uneducated or just starting to learn it, they'll probably assume that everyone's in there, or they'll put latent terms on it. The World Health Organization themselves claim that these kind of extreme disorders are a smaller case out of most gaming populations out there, but that gamers should take care of how much time they put towards these games. It's sound advice, and I myself can't sit there and say that they're inherently wrong about it. After seeing this kind of stuff, reading the reports on it, yes, there is definitely a case of disorders. But there's disorders with everything, people. There are gambling disorders. There are sexual disorders. There's a bunch of disorders out there that deviate from the norm. A disorder is basically something that is deviating from the norm, yes? And so when you look at something like gaming, for it to be classified as a disease, we're looking at the incredibly extreme cases. The ones where motherfuckers die, people ignore their kids, people forget about life. If you're playing video games, even for like 2.5 hours a day, 3 hours a day, whatever the prognosis that people are putting as an average, but you're still getting your work responsibilities done. You're still getting your family and friend responsibilities done. You're still connected to the outside world. You're still keeping up with all of your adult responsibilities or whatever responsibilities you possess, then no, you're not in any form of a disorder. Are you on an emerging side of a disorder? Maybe if you start to ignore even one of those facets, but as long as you get your shit done and you play your games, you're fine. Your disorder is no different than anybody else who spends like 3 hours in front of a television. But the worst part about this situation is how quickly I see parents or, people running to this and bringing children into the argument. First of all, children, when I was a child, we played ball outside. We did, okay? We played basketballs. We played with soccer ball, a lot of balls. All right, we played in the playground, okay? We flipped dog turds because that's what kids back in the early 2000s did, and we loved it to death. But one thing that we also did, at least I did, was I came home every night not every night, but, especially the weekends, I'd load up my PlayStation 2 and play a shit ton of JRPGs, single-player games. And those games required you to put in an average of like an hour, 2 hours. Dude, 3 hours flew by. There were times where I was playing till like, 1:30 a.m. and my mom came in and almost near beat me to sleep. But there were obvious situations where, yeah, we play games for an excessive amount of times, even as a child or, as a young adult. Even more, I guess. It depends. And in that situation, did I have a gaming disorder? I mean, by some parents' technicality, yeah, I did have a gaming disorder, but I turned out to be fine, I think. I mean, as a marginally, as a young adult, I guess you could say. But, when you get to the adult era, you'll realize, your gaming sort of starts to die a little bit. You got more responsibilities to cover and all that good stuff. But the reality of it is the disorder is such a fine line, and for parents to bring up the fact that children are affected by this or that kids playing like 2 hours of Fortnite or something like that, an hour of Fortnite or whatever a day, are classified as like gaming disorders. That is some bullshit that I'm starting to see parents toss off anyways. This is no more different than people spending 3 hours in front of a TV watching a fucking series of like a TV series or a movie or anything. In fact, I think that's even worse. At least they're laying there like fucking zombies. At least with a goddamn game, you have to actually give input so you have some form of cognitive control over what's going on. So, yeah, the World Health Organization is in no way wrong about the situation, and I wanted to wait a couple days to really sort of take this in, see what my beliefs were, and my beliefs are that the World Health Organization isn't wrong for the extreme cases. But I think what's the matter over here and what people are dropping the memes about is a lot of people who like to really toss children into the mix or kind of turn this whole World Health Organization prognosis as a generic statement towards gamers in general. Trust me. If you're gaming, even for 3 hours a day, but you're still keeping all your responsibilities in check, and you are, you're cognitively sure you are, you're fine. There is nothing that is getting to you. But yes, if you are abandoning your real life, if you're abandoning the people you love around you, and the people who love you back, then yeah, we got some problems. You got to make sure your gaming is in check at that point. But I don't want to keep you all here too long, ladies and gentlemen. I got a gaming disorder to feed. Let me know if you're in the same disorder that I am in the comment section below. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Just like if you dislike it, I am out.